Why do you think a slave would have been punished if they were found reading a book? Riddle me that. Because too many of us are taking the blessing, the privilege of understanding how to read words on a paper for granted. Knowledge is power, okay? That's the first step. You have to read the knowledge, because then, and this is the part the oppressors are afraid of, then you can apply the knowledge that you learned in your life. If you watched my previous episode, we talked about what is distracting us from our purpose. And in today's video, I'm going to share some helpful tools with you that helped me get realigned with my purpose. It wasn't until a few years ago, when I intentionally started my spiritual journey, that I had not picked up and read a book, even for leisure, let alone education, since I was probably in high school. Well, I guess college. But regardless, too many years had gone by without me picking up a book. And I kid you not, even though I was in a high-level position, I was an executive director of communications and media, I was a supervisor, I was doing the things, but there was a point in time when I viscerally remember feeling dumb. I felt like I had become dumber, like my vocabulary wasn't in the place that it used to be. And I believe part of this was due to me not reading. I was not consuming information the way that I had as a young adult. So that is why my first tip for you is to read a book. Yes, read a book. Pick up a book. Anybody else remember that song? I think it was Snoop Dogg or somebody who made it. I remember listening to it on BET, and it was like, read a book, read a book. Oh, maybe it was Lil Jon. It was like, read a book, read a book, read a mother book. And they were right. We need to read books, okay? And I wasn't going to go too into this, but I think I need to, because I need you to. Did you know that it was illegal for, I think it was illegal. I know you would have gotten big trouble if you were a slave back in the day and you were found reading a book. You would have been punished. Why do you think a slave would have been punished if they were found reading a book? Riddle me that. Because too many of us are taking the blessing, the privilege of understanding how to read words on a paper for granted. Knowledge is power, okay? That's the first step. You have to read the knowledge, because then, and this is the part the oppressors are afraid of, then you can apply the knowledge that you learned in your life. You're going to tell me, I'm not even going to explain to you, because you should already know why people were scared if an enslaved person started reading and learning how to read and realizing things math ain't mathin' and empowering themselves. Now think about you. You're not enslaved in the way that people were enslaved in this country in the beginning of its time. But you are allowing yourself to be mentally enslaved when you don't choose to put down the phone and the garbage content and the freaking crappy TV shows, and instead pick up a book on a topic that you're interested in. Because I'm not even saying that we need to pick up a dense textbook of some freaking arithmetic or quantum physics, even though that is interesting, but whatever, anything that you're not interested in, I'm not telling you to read it. I'm not telling you to read any specific thing. I'm just telling you, pick up a book on a topic that you feel inside you, you know what? I'm really interested in learning about that. I've been wanting to learn about that for the last couple years, but I've been too busy. I've been distracted, this and that. Wow, I really would be interested in becoming an artist. Wow. I'm really interested in kind of learning more about spirituality and whatnot, but yeah, scroll. Not today. Okay? Not no more. Pick up a book and start reading. Okay? If you want to free your mind, if you want to live the life you want to live, that you deserve to live, that God wants you to live, whatever your spiritual source is, okay? I'm just saying God for me because that's what it is for me. Do better. Do better for yourself because you know deep inside you deserve better. If you're not, this is what I'm telling you right now. If you're living your dream life right now, I will put the key, throw away the lock. Put the lock, throw away the key. But if you're not living your dream life right now, if there's areas in your life that you're, let alone unsatisfied, some of y'all are flat out miserable and dealing with it and thinking that that's okay and that's normal. Well, this is life. Life sucks, then you die. That's horrible. That is not true. And you need to get rid of that mindset. And a great way to start that is by picking up a book on something you're interested in and just start reading. Okay? The first book I had picked up in years was The Body Keeps the Score. I didn't finish it. It was a good book so far. It was a little heavy for me in terms of drama, but it was a good book. I can't even find it. Whole point is I started it, didn't finish it, but it's okay because I started it. Then I picked up other books and I started those. I picked up books from my childhood. That was nice. I recommend that. If you need to get back into reading, pick up books that you enjoyed in middle school, elementary school. Read those. But you need to get the books that you're interested in the topics in terms of what your career path is, what your purpose path is, okay? So the first book I had picked up when I was getting more aligned and being like, okay, I know I need to be living better, doing better, for me was Successful Women Think Differently by, I believe her name was Valerie Burton. Great book, wonderful book. Gave me so many ideas. Reading does so much for you. I can't even explain it in words. But again, that you just have to, if there's anything you'll remember, reading was outlawed. Reading was forbidden. Why do you think they burn books in times of chaos? Knowledge. You have access to libraries, free books. I don't want to hear no excuse, okay? And I don't want to hear an excuse about time either, because if you listen to the first video, we're already detoxing off of social media. So instead of picking up the phone, you're going to pick up the book, okay? It's a great thing to do right before bed. Picking up your phone before bed is terrible for you. Start reading the book, okay? Another book that I recommend, regardless of what your passion or topic of interest is The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist, Transforming Your Relationship with Money and Life. I think this was an excellent book. This book taught me so much about our innate worthiness, which is going to be an essential lesson for you to really grasp and understand as you're going on this self-discovery journey of realignment with yourself and aligning with your purpose and your passion. Because we get a lot of things twisted in terms of forgetting that we are inherently worthy. You are not tied to any job, any title, whatever you accomplish in life. Cool, nice, don't care. You're beautiful and worthy the moment you popped up out here, okay? The moment you popped out of your mama, you were worthy, okay? So that book is great. There's so many gems in there. She talks about money. So you're going to change your concept around money and how how it's a tool. Lots of great things. So happy to go into more books that I've read in the past, but I will say in terms of just two off the bat that I like remember specific things from: The Soul of Money, the Bible. Start reading it. Start reading the Bible yourself. Okay. Many of us grew up somewhat religious. I grew up semi-Catholic, wasn't like super strict Catholic, but a lot of Latino families are Catholic, and it wasn't nobody really telling me the Bible the way the Bible is. So highly recommend the Bible. So many principles in there that are going to be very helpful for you on your path. But in terms of regular books, again, The Soul of Money, and I read Successful Women Think Differently.
All right, you guys, that's going to be it for this week's episode, since I ended up going on a whole tangent about the importance of reading books. I'm just going to wait for next week to be the part 2 as to the ways that we can continue to get back on track with living the lives that we are meant to be living. Okay? So I will see you in next week's episode. Thank you. Bye.